We good? Morning, good evening, good 8:46. Whenever you're listening, wherever you're listening, we appreciate you. You're listening to
Shootin The Shite podcast.
Tarpot.
I'm Smelly.
I'm Skiv, and again this week we are joined by our executive producer, the man with the plan, Craig.
In the sheet is exactly how it sounds like. We will be talking about who knows what. All tangents are accepted. Hey, welcomed. Everything is on the table and nothing is off limits. Today's discussion topic is going to be Song of Our Generation. What you got for us?
All right, so I thought long and hard about this one, and this isn't necessarily a song that I thoroughly enjoyed, but when I think about my childhood, I think the song that really highlighted those middle school, high school years was Payphone by Maroon 5 featuring Wiz Khalifa.
It's a good one. I like that one.
I have countless memories of this playing at shitty high school and middle school dances. The guys on one side of the room, the girls on the other. It was a really good room divider, and I have also vivid memories of some of my classmates singing this to me in class, a la Zach Goodman. But yeah, this pretty much just was always on in all the worst times, and it was a song that was always on the radio, like 2 times an hour, and you just never got the end of it.
It's actually a really good one. I'm a big fan of that.
It's a great song, and I actually blatantly remember Zach Goodman singing that song.
Yeah, he would just like sing
consistently.
it in the middle of algebra, and Mr. Vassos would tell him to shut up. It happened like 3 times a week.
Great vocals, though. Got to give the kid credit.
Yeah, then he hit puberty and it wasn't the same, but like when he was like at that high pitch, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was killer.
He had the voice of an angel and Jesus put together before he hit puberty. Just put that clear.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. Kyle, what do you got?
I too thought pretty hard about this song, and I think it encompasses us similar time, middle school to high school, and it's also kind of relevant to today as well. TikTok by Kesha. Hear me out. I mean, she's talking about brushing her teeth with booze. She's not coming home for the night, partying, like speakers bumping. Like that's pretty much exactly what it was for us middle school through high school. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good song. Not to mention TikTok, pretty famous app. I don't know. Seems pretty relevant still throughout the 2010s into the 2020s.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of one of those songs where you kind of just sing the lyrics and don't really think about what they're saying until you're kind of our age, and then you realize that she's basically just talking about what we do on like the weekends.
Yeah, standard night out.
You guys remember that parody version of that?
I
all?
do, but you're gonna have to refresh me on what happens in it.
I don't remember what happens. I remember there being a banger.
I think it was the Niga Higa cover. I know what you're talking about. I forget what they talk about though.
Was that explicit?
What do you mean?
I think
The song?
isn't TikTok explicit, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I believe it's explicit.
I think the parody version was clean, but I remember that had like probably a good quarter to half as many as.
That was like prime middle school too. Like whenever that parody came out, that was like in the peak of parodying music videos.
Yeah, in middle school, like parodies were like the funniest thing to everyone. Like everyone loved them. They were so funny and they were so stupid. They were literally a waste of time, but it was great.
I wanted to play that. I was about to play it, but then I thought like, oh, we might get DMCA'd, but
Can't do that. All right, Tarun, what do you got? Song of our generation.
yeah. That the song of the generation was that somebody that I used to know. The guy dropped a fire ass song.
Go,
Actually, yeah, it actually wasn't even that good. I did not like it. I thought it was way too slow, but you'd still hear it, as Skiv said, you'd hear it at middle school and high school dances. You hear it on the radio constantly. I don't think that guy has dropped another song since.
I think
Yeah,
that
no,
was
I
like his
I actually saw something
only
about
song.
this, and the people, I think it was a group that released that. It was like 3 people, I want to say, and they released that song and literally fell off the face of the earth. Like they never made another song. They never like made themselves public in any facet. They literally just like dropped a banger and then just dipped. And honestly, like for that, we need to like give them some respect.
I'm looking it up right now, and it looks like they released actually a pretty decent amount of music pre 2011. But somebody that I used to know also released in 2011, and nothing has been put out since then.
Yeah, they
One hit
pretty
wonder.
much just went until they had their moment, and then that's all they wanted. And maybe they were just chasing the clout.
Yeah, I mean, one hit wonder. Pretty good song though. I could see where you're coming from with the song of our generation.
I did some Googling on this, and apparently he didn't make any music after 2014. His last song was Somebody That I Used to Know or whatever. Like his last big song, obviously, his only biggest song. He dropped in 20, or they deformed, whatever you want to call it, in 2014. He did it in a newsletter, and then right now he's currently in a band called, or they're currently in a band called The Basics. So they might still be making music. It's
just not bangers.
Not a single person has ever heard a song from The Basics.
My thing about them is I think a very small percentage of the population could correctly identify who actually made that song.
But everyone would recognize the song.
I
You
have
might not know the artist, but
absolutely zero clue
on the song.
who wrote it.
Oh, Goat, yeah.
Did you know that before today?
Yeah.
See, you could have given me 1,000 guesses, and I never would have came close.
It's just like one of those weird names that you know because he's only relevant with somebody that I used to know.
I still stand by my point, though. I think majority of the society, if it's a fill in the blank, they leave it blank.
I agree with that. Like I literally said it, and I was staring at you, Kyle, and you said by Gaudier, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy." I had no idea that was his name.
Stuff.
No, that was definitely just a super random song. But there you have it. Those are our. You got any last words on that?
No, I was just gonna say, let me switch it up real quick to my favorite topic of the week, of every week. Honestly, our Wook of the week. Once again, for returning listeners, we gave a little explanation last week, but for those of you that missed it, a Wook out or a Wook themselves is just kind of the most outrageous, like unforeseeable actions, events, like the biggest freak out that you would have just never expected, honestly. I'll kick my story off just because this happened to me today. I'm at work today. We're doing a little bit of surveying in downtown Chicago, a couple blocks west of like the Bean and Millennium Park. And I'm standing at this street corner, and there's some homeless dude sparking up his J. I'm watching him. He starts like milking it down halfway, but my boss is with me, so he doesn't say anything. My boss, he gets up and starts walking down the street because he has to go take point somewhere. And this homeless guy like walks up to me, finally goes, "You want a hit, man?" I'm looking at this J, and it's like completely roached down all the way to the bottom. Like there's nothing left to hit. It's all filter at this point. So I'm just like, nah, like I'm good. Like that thing's cashed. This dude stares me dead in the eyes. He goes, "No, it's not," and Wu-Tangs it. Straight inhales the filter in front of me. Just he dead ass looked me in the eyes, inhales this filter, and walks away. I didn't see him the rest of the day. He was sitting at that corner the entire like 2 hours I was there. Wu-Tanged a joint, got up and left. Unforeseeable. Wook of the week.
Were you wearing clothing that made it obvious that you were working, or did you just look like a bystander?
No, I had like a high-vis jacket on and like a hard hat. So like I was clearly a construction worker. I'm carrying all this equipment around, and then he comes up, asks if I want to hit the filter, and then eats it. Unreal.
It's electric. Hey, he was just trying to make sure you were having fun on the job. Were you?
Dude, I wish I could have got the mind right, but I mean,
Did you do it?
No, bro, I don't smoke filters. Maybe if he had like anything in there.
So what if he offered you like a freshly wrapped one?
I would have had a tough time saying no.
Were you with coworkers, or you're just walking around alone?
Well, I had the one guy with me, but he walked away. So like I probably had like 10 minutes by myself at that corner. Had he had a freshly sparked joint, I might have hit it.
That sounds like one of those moments where like even though he was offering you like bottom of the barrel stuff, you just do it just to say you did it.
Yeah, I mean, if a homeless guy offers you any drugs, I think you're required to take them.
There's no way you just said that on air.
If a homeless guy offers you drugs, please take them and say Smelly sent you.
There's no way, dude.
Oh, where that's What? What?
You're telling me this man hands you a spoon fully lit up. You're like,
Hey,
oh
I'm
yeah.
fucked. Take only drugs that you would be comfortable taking.
That's your line.
Disclaimer. What?
It's your line.
I don't know. I just gasped, bro. I'm not doing any hard stuff.
That's fair. I don't think.
I'm gonna respectfully decline anything, but to each their own.
I mean, would you say the same thing if a homeless guy offered you food? Would you take it?
No, I can afford my own food.
but you would. But you would.
You have this so backwards.
This guy's got an apple. You hit that?
No, bro. That's probably a gross ass apple.
What? He has a piece. You hit
Bro,
that?
if he just rolled the J and it's a fresh J, that thing has been like out in the world for less than 5 minutes. If he gives me a random apple, that thing could be 3 months old.
Heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Smelly Nelson would, on the record, hit a freshly rolled joint from a homeless man. That's it. That's it.
Certified. Who else we got? What else you guys got? Any good Wook stories?
Yeah, I guess we'll continue with the whole Chicago theme. So this weekend I was down in Chicago, and I was sightseeing at the Bean. And as we all know, the recent Netflix show Squid Game has been pretty popular, a lot of viewers. And you know, like outside the Bean, there's like those two tall towers that they like put faces on, and they just like do weird stuff.
Yeah.
So there's little kids like playing like the red light, green light game in front of that. And my first red flag in this situation comes from the fact that Squid Game is literally just people getting slaughtered, like blood everywhere, like bad stuff. Kids that are that young, they're probably 6 or 8. They shouldn't be watching that in the first place. But so these kids are doing this. They're yelling red light, green light, and I look to my left and there's like a 55-year-old man that's like unrelated to any of these kids, just standing there pretending to shoot the kids that are not moving. And I'm like, bro, you can't do
What?
that. Yeah, like obviously he's not like, he doesn't have a gun or anything, but he's like joking around like bang bang, and everyone's like looking at him like, dude, that feels really illegal. So
Was he on
it
some
was just
shit?
like a moment where like everyone that I was with, we stood there and looked at him and we were like, hey, like time and a place, maybe not right here.
Was he on something or it was
Yeah.
just
Was he high as
No,
a
he,
kite
he
or
was like,
what?
he was obviously trying to like make a joke of it, and like he wasn't like, he didn't come off as like a crazy person, but he just like maybe didn't really use his social knowledge very well there, because I think he thought that the joke was going to play a lot differently than everyone else did, and it wasn't a great look.
That's nuts. I mean, I would be worried for the kids.
Yeah, and like I said, like the guy, like he was like well put together, and like he didn't look like he had any bad intentions. It really was truly meant to be a joke, but everyone was just like, nah, like that's not what we're gonna do. So I mean, it wasn't a crazy like look, but it was still like a you shouldn't be doing that.
I'd say that's kind of a nuts look, honestly. Like that they're unrelated, dude. Like I'm still scared for the kid. You know, if
Yeah,
they're
and
alive.
it just, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood it. Maybe he was related to them, but considering like he did that and then just walked away, it seemed really forced and unnecessary and didn't really fit the whole vibe of the situation.
Are you assuming they were playing red light, green light from Squid Game, or do you
Well,
think
I
they
mean,
could
these
have just
kids
been
are
kids playing red
standing
light,
there in
green
a
light?
line. There's one kid facing everyone else, and I know Squid Game's based off of like games you would play when you're younger, so maybe they didn't see the show. But if they did, I mean, it was an exact replica of how it goes in the show, and they're just lined up saying red light, green light, and this random guy just thinks he's like the game master. I don't know.
So like I guess Kyle kind of asked the question that I wanted to ask, but like no one's played red light, green light in forever, right? Like even when we was kids, I remember how many times I played it, maybe 3 times at most.
Gym, definitely. You never played red light, green light in gym?
We played Sharks and Minnows way more. Sharks and Minnows was like up until 8th grade type of. Like we did it even when we swam and did polo.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking about when I was watching the show. I was like, I don't know that I ever really played red light, green light. Like I know we did like freeze tag and sharks and minnows, and that was kind of like a blend of those two games. But I don't think I ever actually played red light, green light.
I guess that brings me to my question. Like, you think people are gonna start saying like Squid Gang, Squid Game? Sorry, I like to call it these two now. I like to call it Squid Gang, but it's Squid Game. You think people are gonna start saying Squid Game, quote unquote, invented red light, green light? You think there's kids out there that think that?
I think there's definitely a younger group of kids that probably have never heard of that game because they have iPads now, and Squid Game definitely introduced it back.
Let's just hope that's the only game they take from the show.
Don't spoil, I haven't finished it yet, but
All right,
that's
well,
on
you
me.
get watching because it's been out for a
Bro,
couple
I know
months
it's
now.
on me. It's definitely my fault at this point, but I just don't want to see it yet. I'm not a TV guy. I need to milk my time and really sit down with it.
Fair enough. Turin, what do you got?
So my wook of the week comes from our very own host, Al Nelson, Smelly Nelson. Let me talk to you guys about a Hall of Fame type ordeal. I showed up kind of late. I kind of got to our friend Bennis's place at around 10:30, and we're all just having a good time. There are a little bit of therapeutics going around, and all of a sudden, me and Skiv are having a discussion, having a delight, talking about the Nino afterwards. We both look over at Smelly, and I shit you not, this guy is sleeping, standing up. Me and Skiv looked at each other and we're joking. We're having a ball. Like, we think it's the funniest thing ever. Until we hear him snoring, dude. He is standing up and he is snoring in one of our buddies' garage. Like, there's no way this is real. Like, this has to be a simulation. At this point, we're thinking, is the Nino still happening? And Skiv, of course, he's the guy who's leading the train for the Nino, and all of a sudden we see Kyle like get up. Is almost probably still shut, very minimal open. This opens as a garage for Smelly and walks down the driveway, takes a seat. He takes a seat. Rudd, one of our buddies, is holding him up just in case he falls over. Kyle decides to lay down in his driveway at about 11 o'clock at night. It is maybe 26, 27 degrees outside. It is cold. This guy is laying down in his driveway, and he, Skiv, and all the others are just dying laughing. We think it's hysterical. We're taking pictures, videos, whatever. Of course, only responsibly, only sharing it to our group chat. However, this guy's laying down. 6 minutes later, I see like a second life out of this guy. He stands straight up, comes up to us, and says, which Nino we going to? 6 minutes. It was Hall of Fame type power nap stuff. This was a Hall of Fame power nap. Power naps normally are 20 minutes, 55 minutes, 2 hours, and 4.5 hours. That's your circadian REM rhythm, whatever you want to call it. This guy slept for 6 minutes and he came back to life. There was a point where we thought we might have to do some resuscitation on this guy.
I mean, we started out the night. We got properly medicated. Then Rudd shows up. We get more properly medicated. Then we go out to the garage to get medicated a third time in the hour. And then clearly I was too medicated. So we needed a little nap. But as I was sleeping, standing up, I was like semi-aware of what was going on. And I knew the Nino still needed to happen. So I needed to go on that. I needed to go on the driveway and just feel the cold asphalt on my back because I was getting a little warm. The spins were coming. I wasn't trying to green out on Bennis's fucking driveway. It was either a 6-minute power nap or a total utter Stapleton yak projectile everywhere. It wouldn't have been good.
The thing for me was there were tons of cars driving through the area too, and there's just like what appears to be a lifeless body just starfishing in the middle of Bennis's driveway, and that's just not a great look for the homeowner. But the other thing that also comes to mind is you did have a great revival there, but I don't think that whole luck translated in the Nino, if you care to talk about that. Slot God.
Well, going back to last week a little bit, the start of the week was online slots. Keyword online. I thought I would test the luck in person. clearly the same. Luck doesn't really translate between the two. We had a rough night. We played some slots for about 30 minutes and lost about $200, but responsibly.
There goes. Craig sees what's happening. Oh my God, he's dead. And we're all laughing. We think it's hilarious. And Craig continues to go, I think we still have to go to the Nino. We're not leaving Kyle on the driveway blanketless without, we're not going to the Nino without him. Because he would have wanted. That's how we're going to pay for his funeral costs. Swear to God, that was the funniest one-liner I had ever heard in my life.
See, my confusion there was I thought you were talking about our executive producer and the man with the plan.
Yeah, that is Craig.
Yeah, but those are different Craigs.
Right.
So that's where you lost me.
Oh, but I found him.
You're found. You were lost, but now you're found.
Yeah, my look of the week, and not really. I'd say it's more. I just wanted to share the story because it was a Hall of Fame power nap. Literally, hang that nap up in the rafters. People want that autographed right now.
It was a phenomenal experience. I'm glad I was there to witness it. I think we can move on now to our stacks of the week and our shitbags of the week. Just for a little bit of insight, the stack of the week is going to be a new segment we're starting this week where it's essentially a start of the week, but there has to be two things that go together so that we are stacking those two items to make it kind of like a combination of good things. So without further ado, I will let Kyle take away this segment with his stacks of the week.
All right, first stack of the week, and I this is only because this has happened to me recently that I've discovered this stack. But I'm gonna have to give it to janky local restaurants and Chicago natives. Those two combined create the best food in the world. The last 3 days, I've had Mexican, Chinese, and some like Polish place, and I was getting meals for like $3-4 a pop for like a full sandwich, fries, and a drink. Like, great combination. Start of the week one, or stack of the week one. Stack of the week two, responsibly here. Invest in Ethereum. Ethereum and any leftover money you have total needs to be combined, and you need to invest every last penny you have into it. This thing is going to the absolute moon.
Responsibly.
To the moon. Highly recommend, but take my word for what it is. My last stack of the week, and big shout out to our boy Bennis, who might actually be guest starring on the podcast next week, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But Adele and the car radio. Have you heard her new song? Have you guys heard it?
Yeah, I actually listen to the radio every day on the way to and from work, and the new song, it plays. It's good, and I
Fucks.
look forward to it being on the radio.
Adele fucks. That song fucks. That song and the radio and Adele, stack of the week. I mean, I listened to that thing probably 2 or 3 times on the way. Bennis put me on that song, so I got to give credit where credit is due, but fantastic song. Adele fucks.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I 100% agree, and I think that that's gonna be one of those songs that's gonna be here to stay for a while. I mean, it's obviously gonna run its course as any good song does, but I think for the next couple months here, we see a lot of mornings with Adele.
To mention, she hasn't made a song in like 5 years, and then she just comes out with a straight banger. Like,
Yeah, she
Adele literally
lost her
didn't lose a
vocal
step.
cords or something.
She didn't lose a step.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Second life.
Good for her. I mean, stack of the week. I hope she wins something with that song because it is damn good.
I'll have to get on that. I actually have never heard it, but I'll make sure to play it in my car.
Easy on Me by Adele.
Easy on Me. You think that's any nod to KD, Easy Money Sniper? Getting together?
Probably not.
I
Not.
don't know that Adele and KD enter the same social circles, but you never know.
I mean, they went on a few dates last year. That's a true story. They might be getting together. They might be hooking up on the low.
I guess I'm not keeping up with my pop culture. I'll have to look into that. How about your shitbags?
Okay. For starters, just because this switched on Sunday too, daylight savings time. I think that's got to be probably like one of the worst ideas we've ever created for today's time. Maybe it was like useful and productive 200 years ago for the farmers, but currently we have sun up at like 5:30 and sundown at like 4:30. Like, why would we daylight savings time to get less sun during waking hours? It didn't really make sense to me.
I actually have something to say about that. So
Let me hear it.
this morning, Monday morning, I woke up and I'm supposed to be in my seat at work at 8 a.m. every day. And I woke up this morning, I looked at my phone and it was 7:56 in the morning. And I noticed the sun was shining very bright and I knew it was a very bad situation. So I did the most impressive speed run of shower, shave, brush your teeth, and pack a lunch that I've ever seen and this world's ever seen, and got into my seat at 8:15. So I was only 15 minutes late, but I'm going to blame that on daylight savings.
You do realize we gained an hour. We didn't lose an hour. So if anything, you woke up at 9 o'clock, not 8 o'clock.
See, that's something that we shouldn't talk about. We should just make it seem like I did something great.
Yeah, we fell back.
Just real quick comment on that. True story. There was one day that I walked into class at 10:45, and I didn't switch any of my clocks in my dorm room. At that point, I had a Samsung. I didn't change my auto GPS time. It was actually 9:45. I walked into class, headphones on, and everything. A little swag to my walk. I was feeling good. Had some new clothes on. Had some fresh clothes on. Fresh cut. Came back from home, and I kind of got
Played yourself.
I got fucked on by the teacher. He did not enjoy it. He did not enjoy me strolling into class, headphones on. Apparently, he asked me like twice, "Why are you so late? Why are you so late?" While I was walking in. Obviously, my
Savings time, bro. That's what you should have told
We
him.
just need to ban it everywhere.
Yeah, get rid of it. All right, my last sit of the week, and this might come off as a little bit of a hot take too. Maybe people see me as the Grinch, but Christmas decorations and Christmas music should be banned in the month of November up until post Thanksgiving. You get 4 days in the month of November to play that. Up until then, show some respect for Thanksgiving and quit skipping over it right.
Is that a slight at your Indian friend over here? We got some Diwali.
You have your Christmas decorations up?
Yeah, we got some Diwali Christmas lights up. Yeah,
That's not Christmas. That's Diwali.
that'll play.
Yeah, no, just not good. Also, I saw recently on the top music charts that All I Want for Christmas, Mariah Carey finally broke the top 50 again for the year, and that I have a problem with that.
So, just to play devil's advocate here, I think that most people can attest that the first time November/December that they hear Christmas music, they get into a better mood. So I think basically what you're saying is that you just hate happiness.
I mean, I just hate Christmas music
But
and Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving. Why don't we have Thanksgiving music and why don't we have Thanksgiving decorations? Arguably a better holiday than Christmas. Arguably.
the fuck you gonna sing about? Turkeys?
Bro, Turkey, the Pilgrims, the Indians, like,
See, my problem
you're
here,
thankful. You're not thankful for anything?
Thankful for shit, but not enough for me to celebrate or to sing a whole ass song about it.
my thing here is that Christmas time is a season, whereas Thanksgiving is a day. And as such, we should celebrate the longer period of time with more meaning.
I agree with that take, Skiv. Valentine's Day, is that a holiday?
Yeah, we don't sit there and sing about love songs for 4 weeks because
That's
it's
because
a
there's
one-day
love
thing.
songs being produced like twice a week by random artists everywhere.
Yeah, by Adele. So maybe she isn't as good as we think.
No, she fucks.
I'm not disagreeing with your take because I strongly do agree that Christmas music gets played way too early. But I agree with Skiv a lot here, saying that Thanksgiving's a holiday.
So my thing is, I agree with half of your take and disagree with the other half. I think the music is fine, but the decorations are where I draw the line. We have a friend, Steve, who's had his Christmas tree up for 6 straight years. It never comes down, and that's something where I'm like, okay, we're going a little too far there.
Yeah, big problem with that. I can somewhat see the Christmas decoration side because the weather's a little bit nicer in November. You want to pop stuff up, but then just don't turn it on. Just put the lights up and leave them unplugged till November 26th or whatever it is, and then you're good. Then I'm here for it.
Yeah, no,
So-
agreed.
It's actually what Papa Po does. We put up the Diwali lights 2 weeks ago, and after Saturday we unplugged them, and we will not be plugging them back in until November 20.
I can get behind that.
Perfect. I love that.
Start of the week. Poe.
Start of the week, Papa Poe, honorable mention. Stack of the week, Papa Poe and Christmas lights.
All right, is that everything you've got for us this week?
Yep, that was all I have so far.
All right, I'll go next now. So my first stack of the week is a very seasonal related activity. I'm gonna go with heated seats and your morning coffee. As someone who works in person every day, it's starting to get to that time of the year where when we get into our car in the morning, it's not fun. And having those heated seats and a coffee to warm you up is something that will immediately jumpstart your day and put you into a better mood. So I'm gonna go with that. My next one is going to be cigars and Miller Lights on a golf course. I think there's nothing better than taking two things that make your play worse and combine that with probably an already pretty lackluster game. And it takes all the pressure off. You're able to just get loose out there. You're with your boys, and you might not shoot well because you never do, but at least you're having a good time doing it. So
It's an
that's how I feel about
experience.
that.
Golf's the experience. You need to enhance the experience.
Anyone that's listening to this podcast is not going to the PGA Tour, Blitzka. But that's the thing. We're just out there to have a good time. So we're gonna get loose. We're gonna have fun with our guys, and we're gonna do our thing out there. And then my last stack of the week is gonna be plagiarism and an oblivious professor. Because if you can combine those two things, you can get away with a lot of stuff and have to do a lot less work. I know in college, all we did was write essays left and right. And if you can somehow find a way to do it, and I'm not saying that I did, but if you can find a way to pull it off, it'll make your life significantly easier.
You have any sources to assist in that? You got like an essay website you use? I mean, it sounds like you're saying you're not doing it, but you might be doing it.
See, it's one of those things where it's I'm not doing it, but if I was doing it, I would talk about it.
Have you ever been caught plagiarizing before?
I actually got caught once, and it wasn't by a teacher; it was by my mom.
What?
Yeah, so I was in 4th grade. I had a paper to write about earthquakes, and I wrote the whole paper by copying and pasting paragraphs that I found on the internet because I didn't know any better. And I showed it to her like the morning before I was leaving for class or for school that day, and she was like, "I know how you talk, how you write. This is not you." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And she was like, "That's not how this works." So I had to go back into the lab and call in sick for the first half of school so I could redraft that bad boy up and submit my actual work. But that was when I finally learned that that wasn't something you can get away with or do.
I just wanted to. I mean, Kyle, do you have anything to add on that one?
No, I mean, I don't plagiarize. I just do my work. I mean, I might cheat and copy, but I'm not pulling it off of the internet.
Yes, my question is, did you guys actually have to write papers in college that much?
So many. If not papers, then lab reports or like anything, like everything.
It's obviously very like major based. Most of my papers weren't things where I was like pulling information from the internet. It was more like, here's my results and this is why they're them. So it was like it wasn't
Data
the same.
analysis.
Yeah, it's more data and analysis and stuff like that. So it's like it's not really a situation where you could plagiarize. I did obviously have my gen eds where it was possible, but I wouldn't recommend it unless if you have an oblivious professor. But yeah, I mean, we probably wrote anywhere from 10 to 12.
What was that one site that had like homeworks and lab reports and everything on it?
Chegg,
No, not check the other one. It was Blue.
Course Hero.
Of course,
Yeah, Course Hero, dude. Low-key came in clutch for a ton of labs. The data might have been different, but the analysis and like the point was pretty useful.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts how we're in like an age where pretty much every single thing that you do in school is going to be online. Because I know when we were growing up, as in like our younger days, it wasn't really like that. Like we actually like took time to learn stuff. But I think with the coming generations, people are just going to rip everything off the internet and just pass by with that.
Yeah, that's why they got those checkers so much better now. It's like where it'll like even if you don't have like a direct match, like even if you have like a small percent match, like they'll just flag your ass.
Yeah.
I've want to make this clear. I've never cheated in college or university, but
Keyword college or university.
yes, um, high school was a totally different sport, dude. I don't think there was a single test I didn't cheat, which is because teachers didn't care. They were like, "Oh, you're gonna fail the AP test," and I was like, I don't mind, because I know that I can cram for the AP test. I'm not studying every single day for a different test in a different class every day when it comes to high school. Also, I think that did you guys do a lot of like group projects slash group reports?
Everything
Yeah.
was team based, pretty much. I'd say you
Same.
have a team anywhere from 2 to 4 on like every paper, and then you get shafted by the one kid who does nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, as you guys know, I was a business major. If you guys don't know who are listening, I was a business major. I majored in accounting, finance, business analytics, and then Skiv and Smelly both majored in engineering. I think it's mechanical engineering for Skiv. Yeah, civil engineering for Smelly.
Yes, sir.
So like that's just kind of where I was coming from. But that's a good point. Got anything for shitbags?
Yeah, I'll go through my shit bags now. So my first one is gonna be lines at a bar, and the reason behind that for me is it feels like the only time that you catch a fat line is when you're rolling out with like the perfect buzz, you're with a great group, and then it's like, oh, let's put a halt to this great night and put you in a line for an hour. And as someone who goes to Chicago pretty much every weekend, I experience this more often than I would like to admit. So I'm kind of fed up with it, and I would love to see somehow we can find a way around that. My next one is going to be expiration dates on food. There's nothing worse than when you buy something, especially when you're living on your own, and you kind of forget about it, and then you find it in the back of your fridge, and you're like, oh, I spent a lot of money on that. That sucks. So I think we need to find a way where we can just banish expiration dates on food. Food should be good forever.
You
I think
sound like someone who's never taken a sip out of expired milk.
I haven't, and I won't.
Yeah, that you need an expiration date for something like that.
No, my point is we need food that doesn't expire.
So non-perishable goods. So you want like rice and
I'm
potatoes.
trying to say we need a way where we can make all food non-expirable.
You're pro GMO.
I'm pro GMO.
Yeah, I mean it'd probably save us a shit ton of money too if we found a way to reduce waste because
I mean,
everything lasts
just on my
forever.
own, the amount of times that I threw out like half-eaten like bags of lunch meat, milk, all that kind of stuff in the past 4 years at school, it was disgusting. And I'm sure every person that's in my position is doing the same thing. We're just throwing incredible amounts of food away.
Oh, absolute no doubt. But I don't know
So,
how to solve that. If you do that, you're gonna have so many other whack side effects.
oh, I mean, this is obviously just like
Yeah,
a
it's
theoretical situation. I'm just saying, like in
future
the
play.
dumbest way possible, all
Maybe
food should
maybe
never
we come up
expire.
with that. We could probably make a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, and obviously, like it's not possible, but for the sake of comedy and my own opinions, all food should not expire.
I mean, McDonald's can almost do that.
Yeah,
Have-
you shove a Twinkie under your
have
bed,
you
and
seen
5
Super
years
Size
later,
Me?
it's still edible.
Have you seen Super Size Me?
I have.
Yeah. Do you like, or have you seen the clip where they like let this McDonald's sit out for like 2 years and then come back to it and it looks identical?
Yeah.
We just need whatever they have and code it on everything.
Yeah, one time I was in Horner's car, and I reached under his driver's side seat and found a half-eaten Twinkie just sitting under there, and it looked
Perfect
perfectly fine.
condition.
And I asked him, I said, "When's the last time you had a Twinkie?" Before I showed him the Twinkie, and he was like, "Oh, probably like 2 or 3 years ago." And I'm like, "This is literally incredible that this thing lasts this long. It looked perfectly edible. I wouldn't eat it, but if I had to, I could."
That's why Woody Harrelson was on the quest for the last Twinkie in Zombieland. Shit doesn't expire.
Exactly. And then my last shitbag of the week is Pemdas. And
I second that. I don't even need to hear anything else. I'm on board.
I've never heard of anyone having beef with Pemdas. I want to hear it.
let me tell you why. So every single maybe 3 or 4 months, there's gonna be this viral tweet that comes out where it's like some simple math problem where it's like you need to use division, addition, and subtraction.
Parentheses.
And parentheses, and half of the world just can't do the math, and they're so like convinced that they're right, And I don't have the energy to sit there and like argue with randoms on Twitter, but like I do lose sleep over the fact that half of our society can't do simple math.
Do you think it's because the M and the D are reversible and the A and the S are reversible?
Well,
and
that's what causes the problem.
Do
the
you think there
only
needs to
issue.
be a universal like trump one over the other? Just totally change math up.
I don't think it requires that. I just think people need to understand that it's as simple as the first two and the second two can go in any order. It's not that hard.
Not a lot of people paid attention in
But
algebra.
half of our society can't do it. So maybe honestly, yeah, maybe we should just get rid of PEMDAS and just have it a free for all. Do whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you get, that's the right answer.
I'm here for it.
I am pro that idea of whatever it is, whatever number you get should be right. I'm pro that. Everyone's winners here.
Yeah, I mean, just turn it like English, where it's like up for interpretation. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, can you defend your answer?
I hate that you just said my shitbag of the week.
Was it English?
English was in fact my shitbag of the week. Actually, sorry. Before I go on, Skiv, did you have any? Okay, so
I got.
I don't want to take too long. I'm only gonna do one. English was actually my shitbag of the week. The reason is because I was typing in enough. I realized I was emailing it to a foreigner working on our GDS team. I was just sitting there thinking, like, isn't typing enough and trying to pronounce it. Also, I pronounce it stuff. I don't pronounce it stove, like many of you white folk do. It's stuff. If it's dove, if it's glove, it's stuff. I just think English is entirely made up, which it is. And I think that English is an awful when it's the hardest language to learn for sure, but it's the most important one.
I don't even know what to say to stove.
Sounds like something I would have put on my ACT.
Hey, glove?
Yeah, glove.
Is it glove?
It's different words, bro.
Well, I'm saying, like, why
about
don't we have any consistency?
Bro, I'm not going to get into an English debate with you because I posted up a 19 on the English ACT, but I would love to come after you if I was capable
That's
of
some
it.
killer self-awareness right there.
You got to know what you're good at and you got to know what you're bad at. And
English is just the hardest language to learn as an ESL student. Hardest language to learn, I think, is bullshit. Definitely racist, and I'll leave it at that. English is racist. Clip it.
Are we becoming a Spanish podcast?
Sí, señor. Entonces. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up Shitbags of the Week. We're in the bank. You have this ability forever, or 150 racks. What'd you say?
250 racks. Easily.
Such cap, and you know it.
Bro, being sick is like what? Maybe like a 24-hour bug? Oh, wait. Is this terminal illnesses? Or
Yeah, of course.
So cancer.
If I get cancer, if I get hepatitis, if I get
I think that's like unfair to the question because if I just had to jerk off to get rid of cancer, that's a no-brainer. Like 250 racks ain't doing anything. But if it's like your daily flu, like vomiting, like upset stomach, give me the 250 racks easily, I think.
I'd smack the 250 racks if it's not including that. What if it's 250 mil? 250 mil or terminal illnesses?
250 million easily. Fuck cancer. I mean, I'm gonna have 250 million to ball out with. Like, if I'm gone, I'm gone.
I mean, theoretically, if you do have this magical power, does that make you eternal?
Age is not a sickness. Time is not a sickness, so that will in the end kill you.
So theoretically,
What?
let's say you have 0 health complications, you probably live to 110.
Oh, yeah, 110, 120, somewhere around the range.
So
I'd rather have 250
either you
mil
live
of
to
70.
110 or you're filthy rich your whole life. That's the question.
That's a fair point, but you could also, at any point, just be like, I think I've lived a good life, right? It's not like live until you're 120. Also, 250 mil is a lot of money. I think I personally would take the jerk it, but I understand where you're coming from, Kyle. I didn't let you
If
finish.
it's 250 mil, I take the money. If it's 250 racks, I take the ability.
250 racks without terminal illness. What do you do?
Without terminal illness, 250 racks.
Probably 250, but
Bro,
it's
if
a
you get-
tough decision.
You get rid of sick days, then you don't get paid time off. There's no more sick days for being sick.
You
'cause
can
you're just
also
gonna beat
use
your
some of
schmeat.
that to pay for the health expenses. So there's kind of like you can go both ways with it.
I think if it's not terminally ill, I'll take the racks and leave. But I think with terminally ill, I'd rather be able to live forever. NFL real quick. Had a lot of underdogs win. We had Giants win over the Raiders. We had the Broncos take the brakes off the Cowboys. With 5 minutes left, they were up 30-0. We had the Falcons win, almost below 22-0 or 2-point lead. The Browns slap the Bengals' cheeks, and we had the Titans run into SoFi, kill them. And last but not least, we had the Jags upsetting my most overrated team, the Bills. You heard it here first. I just want everyone to know I did make that. I did put my flag in the ground, and you two both clowned me. I did say that the Bills were the most overrated team in the NFL, and they just lost to the Jacksonville
Now,
Jaguars.
before you get on your high horse, let me propose some theory to you here. I did some digging on the internet this week and found a fun fact that might debunk your theory. There's this thing on Monday nights called the Manning Show of Monday Night Football. And this year they've had Travis Kelce, Russell Wilson, Rob Gronkowski, Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, and recently Josh Allen all on the show. And in the following game that all of those players played in, each and every one of their teams suffered a loss. So I don't know if this is as much about the Bills being overrated as them being hit with maybe the worst curse in all of sports. Thoughts on that?
Maybe it's because they're not practicing. It's like when Baker was making all of his commercials and he had more commercials than wins. Maybe they need to stop worrying about interviews with Marshawn and Peyton and, I don't know, hit the film room maybe a little bit. I don't know. Josh Allen, 6 points last week. That's just pathetic.
Yeah, Josh Allen should be watching film of the upcoming opponent, not of two random teams on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the Bills suck, and I totally agree with that Peyton Manning or the Manning cast curse. Also, fun fact, Russell Wilson got hurt the week after, and Gronk also got hurt the week after. Almost like 4-8 on the Russ injury, and I think it was 2-6 on the Rob Gronkowski injury. So that's a great point. I might have to concede my argument just because you brought that up.
And obviously losing 6-9 to the Jaguars, which for one is funny because you've got Urban Meyer at the helm there, so you get a nice little 6-9 joke in for you. But
pass.
The other problem there is I think it also could easily be a fluke game. The Packers suffered from one of those, and it could just be that. And obviously this whole Manning curse thing is a reach, but it is fun to give some attention to it.
Didn't they get canceled? Is the curse over? Or are they still on air?
They're taking this week off just because they have like some weird scheduling thing, but they do still have the Monday night slot when they wish.
So they went for the off week hoping that they would skip a week and people would forget about it.
They probably feel bad for just like tormenting the league.
Who do we think they get on next week, and who do we need to lose? That's the real question. I'd say Jordan Love, but he doesn't need any help doing that.
Hey man, don't go hard on the young boy. It's his first start. Justin Fields didn't look great either. We got time.
So that's going to wrap up the Kyle, do you have anything to say about the week recap?
I mean, well, I'll give a little shout out here to the Ravens. Little dub in OT, 34-31 over the Vikings. The game wasn't pretty. We were behind for most of it, but we got the job done and secured another win. But in much bigger news, Michigan State stinks. Absolutely stinks. Come into West Lafayette, get mollywopped. When are teams going to learn that West Lafayette is where top 3 teams go to die? I mean, 3 times in the last 3 years, Ohio State, Iowa, and now Michigan State. Like, pretty top caliber teams to be losing in West Lafayette. And we actually went to Iowa and dogged on Iowa in Iowa. Purdue legit football team.
Both of those get the Michigan State, the Ohio State, all 3 of those, all 4 technically. All 4 of those games were like rout. Like it wasn't even close. Like I never once looked at that Purdue Michigan State or the Purdue Iowa or the Purdue Ohio State and be like, oh yeah, Ohio State's got a chance. It was Purdue from the start and to the end.
While we're on the topic, college football, I'm gonna bring up the Wisconsin Badgers, and we're currently riding a 5-game win streak, and We know how Wisconsin has this history of studs at the running back position. We got Melvin Gordon, Monty Ball, James White, Jonathan Taylor, Ron Dane. The list goes on and on. But the next one is here, folks, and his name is Braylon Allen. He is 17 years old. He currently has run for 100-plus yards in 5 straight games. He's younger than all of you listening by at least 5 years.
He's
Think about that.
17.
17. He's legally a high school senior.
And he's torching college defenses.
And he is running for 7.2 yards per carry in the conference with the best defense in the entire country.
Do you think Wisconsin made him, or do you think he should have gone to a real school like Alabama?
I mean, the thing is, Wisconsin always makes running backs look great, but a lot of them have also had a lot of success in the pros. So I think at this point, it's almost just guys know they can go there, show out, and get a spot in the league and continue to do their thing there. So I think the kid's the real deal.
It's going to bring me to also shout out real quick, Pats, big dub, 24-6. If anyone watched Sam Darnold, you're trash. Bill Belichick, hottest team in the NFL. Don't be shocked if they're 13-4. Do not be shocked at the end of the season if they're 13-4. That was Skip. What you just? Sorry, go ahead.
Do you care to comment on what Mac Jones did to Brian Burns this weekend?
Yes, I do. I don't want to comment on that.
That's
We're gonna get. Hey, he thought he had the ball, dude. And that's we're running short on time here. What you said about the running back, that actually brought me to a question we had from one of the listeners. At Super Pollock 69, is JT Heisman a running back? I do want to take this one first. I think he's an excellent product. I think him, Nick Chubb, Derek. I think all these guys, like the top elite tier guys that you're thinking of, are very good running backs. I also want to say Colts top 5 line, top 5 line. Damian Harris is not the best running back in the league. However, if he went behind that Colts O line,
no, he wouldn't.
Damian Harris is hurt every week.
75% of what JT Heisman is. I'm not saying he's a bad running back. I'm just saying
he's not even 75%.
You give Damian Harris a Henry or Taylor workload, he's out for the year by week 5.
I'm just saying, if you say JT Heisman is a top 5 running back, you have to
Colts
bring
don't have their best linemen. They have.
If you put Aaron Jones behind that O-line, he does the same thing as JT Heisman. Yeah or no?
No.
I disagree with both of you. I think Aaron Jones is a lot better
because of the style of running back they are. Aaron Jones is a pass-heavy running back, and Jonathan Taylor is just starting to add that to his game.
It's fair.
The dude ran for 170.
Right. Subtract 80 yards and a house call because the Jets fucking
How are you going to
suck.
subtract big plays? That's like subtracting every 95-yard run.
Jonathan Taylor has the 2 longest runs in the NFL this year. You can't just subtract big plays from big playmakers.
It's fair. Who are the 2 best plays against? No?
I don't.
Texans? Nope.
Jets.
Jags and the Jets. So that's why I'm saying I think he's a great running back. You have to bring up the scheme that he's in. If he goes to a Jacksonville, a Houston, if he goes to a dog shit O-line, he's not a top 5 running back. We're not talking about him in that aspect.
Remove those 2 plays, he's still top 3 in the league in yards.
You have to understand he's also going to lead the league in rushing this year by a noticeable margin.
Yeah. I mean, that's only because Henry got hurt, but there's not really a close 3.
Even if he's still on pace to put up a 1,700-yard season, which is very rare in this passing era of football.
Derrick Henry had 300 more yards than him before he got hurt.
Derrick Henry also gets 40 touches a game and averages less yards per carry than Nick Chubb and Jonathan Taylor.
Derrick Henry, not a good short down back. You heard it here first.
But as I was saying, I'm not saying he's not a top 5 running back. You have to nod your head. He is a very good running back. I'm not saying he's not a top 5. I'm not saying he is. Probably today, I'd say he is a top 5 running back.
He's number 1 as of right now. He's the only no, not even statistically, just health-wise. Like all the other top running backs are banged up a little bit. Besides Kamara,
Snackler or JT.
JT.
Both of them.
JT, regular or fantasy, doesn't matter. JT.
I take JT over Austin Eckler, but I take Kamara over JT.
I don't think Kamara can run through the tackles as much as JT can.
Yeah, I don't know if Kamara can handle that whole workload.
He can't, but he brings so much in the passing game that you have to respect that.
Right. And I think All three of us here are agreeing that he is probably a top 5 quarterback. They are saying he is for
Actually,
sure.
my vote is yes.
My vote is probably, but not to the scheme and things like that. Another question we have in here today. At Depressed Lions fan 42. Titans have won 5 in a row with wins against the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Bills. Are they the team to beat, and even without King Henry in the AFC?
Last week, for my most underrated team, I was debating between the Colts and the Titans, but I figured I couldn't roll Titans because they still have a winning record, but just the league mentality with Derrick Henry out kind of brought them down in the personal rankings, I feel like. But yeah, I think they might be the team to beat. I don't know. There's not really that many good teams this year. Cards, Bucks, Titans, Bills are beatable, Chiefs are beatable, Ravens are beatable. I don't know. I think there's
Packers.
with or without Aaron Rodgers.
He's back next week.
Depends if he gets his vaccine or not.
So here's my thing about this question. If it said the team to beat in the AFC, I would probably say yes. But they are not the team to beat. I think the Cardinals, I think the Rams, I think the Packers are 3 teams that I would comfortably put above the Titans right now.
It is AFC. You said Titans.
I think they have to be in the conversation.
Are you going to put the Rams over the Titans after last night?
I still think the Rams are the better team.
I agree with that. I think I would rather.
Showed out. I don't know. That was
I mean,
a
I
Derrick
understand,
Henry-less domination.
Right, that's also true. That's also very true.
I
Matty
agree.
Stafford played like dog shit though. He threw 2
So
picks,
is
didn't
that
he?
the defense's fault? Matty Stafford has 22 touchdowns on the year, I want to say, and now he just kind of got fucked on by the Titan D. So, I mean,
Every team
offensively,
has
maybe they're
those
not
games,
there.
and I just think for the Rams, maybe it was this week. I do think you make a great point saying that they got molly-whopped last night on national television, but I think at the end of the day, and Vegas would probably agree with me here, if they're making a line, it's going to favor the Rams, no matter where the game's played.
I agree with Skiv's take. I'd rather take the Rams over the Titans in 100 games, and I'll take my money 69% of the time. However, gotta remember, Titans lost to the Jets earlier
If
this
they
season.
meet in the Super Bowl, Derrick Henry will be back on the field. You do realize that, right? That's going to be an issue that they did not account for.
That's also very true. That's very true. I can't disagree with either of those two. I just think the Titans are a question mark. They're a good team. I think they're the team to beat in the AFC, but I just can't put them as my Super Bowl favorites yet.
Some fantasy bias here, but the things that we're seeing from Cooper Kupp this year are pretty remarkable. I mean, the guy doesn't have the freak build that most star receivers do, and he is literally tearing every defense apart. I think he's had 7 or more catches, 100 or more yards, and a touchdown at least in a majority of the games that he's played this year, and those are stats that just a random guy doesn't come down with.
It's I think I was looking at it the other day. I think he has a touchdown in every game except 2 games this season. And
Yeah.
he's got like 10 touchdowns through 9 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I think someone sent it in the group chat. He's on pace for 2,100 yards and like 22 touchdowns or something ridiculous like that.
Nuts.
I'm curious to see do we think that that's just touchdown regression? Because last season he had 2 tuds. This year he's already got 10.
Every QB picks a favorite wide receiver. He's
Correct.
clearly Matt Stafford's favorite wide receiver, and there's not really anything I don't think that changes. It's like saying that Thielen's always going to have touchdown regression, but Thielen continues to produce touchdowns because Cousins
So
likes throwing
let
him
me
the ball.
pose another question here. It's a very quick one. Is there a QB receiver duo that you think right now is better than that?
Then Stafford Cup
Yes.
when healthy, or
One healthy, one playing.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and it's not
Is that
close.
the only one?
Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes.
I would
Maybe
throw
not this year, but you're taking a small
saying-
sample size versus a large sample
I'm
size.
saying right now. Assuming everyone's healthy right now.
I think someone that deserves to be in the conversation, Brady and Gronk or Evans, only because they have so many weapons, but that's why they can't be the winner
Gronk is not in the conversation.
I say
I'll listen
Gronk.
to
I
Evan.
meant to say Godwin. I didn't
Tyreek
mean
is still
Gronk.
wide
That's
receiver 2 on the year, so it's not like he's not in the discussion though.
Correct, but what Mahomes is doing this year is a little worrisome.
So isn't that even more impressive that Tyreek's wide receiver 2
I didn't ask
with a
about
poor
wide receiver. I said QB wide receiver duo.
Yeah, but the duo is all of Tyreek's yards.
No. The duo is both of those two playing together.
If I'm right now, if I'm defenses, I'm worried about the Rams offense. I'm not worried about Matty Stafford and Cooper Kupp. I'm worried about Matty Stafford and Tyler Higbee and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Darrell Henderson
and Cam Akers coming back next year.
and Jefferson. They've got a lot of weapons on that team, but I think that deserves to be in the conversation.
So
I think Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford is 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Devontae Rogers is 1. Cup staff is 2. Tyreek Mahomes is 3, and then Gronk and then Brady, Mike Evans.
Tarun, to the point that you just made, if they have all those weapons, isn't it even more impressive that he's putting up those numbers?
They're putting up ridiculous numbers overall. Like I think Robert Woods has 6 or 7 tuds on the year as well. He's doing a good job.
Henderson is like a top 13 running back too, so I mean the whole offense is thriving.
I agree with Kyle. I would rather have Aaron Rodgers than Tay.
I just think Tay's more threatening, and Rodgers can put the ball wherever he wants on the field from wherever he is on the field from any arm angle he has.
I was more arguing the Mahomes Hill.
Yeah,
it's fair. All right,
one last question, one last one.
Well,
what is a legit sleeper Super Bowl matchup right now? I don't think I have something off the top of my head, but we're gonna have to piece this together as a squad, I think.
So out of the AFC, let's take out the Titans. Let's take out the next top dog.
Ravens. The Ravens are the second best.
Bills.
So take out all division leaders.
Sure.
You could probably leave the AFC South in there.
I could see the Eagles. I mean, that'd be my best non-division,
West.
or the Bengals.
I still think the Chargers are starting, like with the past 3 games they've had, they've looked bad, dude. Like I think they're starting to like trend down, so they could be put into sleeper category.
Do you think the Chargers beat the Bengals?
Yes, 100 times out of 100, yes.
I don't know if I agree with you. The Bengals have looked really fucking good, dude. That whole passing off.
Craziest thing about the Bengals,
they just lost.
Assuming the Steelers hold on to their lead tonight, they're in last place in their division.
Weeks ago, they were first in the AFC.
So I think we can count them as a sleeper then, right?
Definitely.
I'd
That's
agree.
my favorite. That's my favorite.
Their offense has all the weapons. Their defense isn't quite there, but they have star players. Jesse Bates, a stud. I think they're a pretty good candidate as a sleeper out of the AFC.
NFC, I like the Eagles. Maybe this. Can you even call like the Saints a sleeper? Maybe Taysom Hill comes back and lights it up. I don't know.
The only sleeper I have in the NFC right now is the Seahawks because Russell Wilson in the playoffs is someone that you just can't bet against. Their defense is playing well. They've given up some of the fewest points in the league, and I think that with a 3-5 record and a softening schedule in the coming weeks, I think they do have a chance to make a good late playoff push.
That's a tough division, though. I don't know how many divisional games they got left, but that's definitely going to be a hard one to climb out.
That'd be at least 3.
If they're on the right end of a couple wins, though, they could be dangerous for sure.
They sneak in as like a 6 or a 7. I wouldn't want to play them.
So Seahawks, Bengals, sleeper bowl. I mean,
there's no one else in the NFC that really sticks out. Like the Eagles are 3-6, and they're not really doing much. I don't know that Jalen Hurts is the guy.
I don't know if he's the guy either, but I also don't think there's that many NFC teams that are that respectable.
The NFC is incredibly top heavy.
I totally agree with that. AFC will not win the Super Bowl this year. I don't care if the Bills are in it. I don't care if the Titans are in it. NFC is far superior conference. But Craig is telling us that we're running out of time here. But thank you so much for watching, listening, laughing, crying, whatever you're doing. We appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, all the above, none of the above. Anything you can do helps. So from Skiv, Smelly, myself, be a friend, tell a friend, get to the weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yay!